Neopian lore, what we got in store. Talking about the things that we love and adore. We're all over 20, right? We stay indoors and play this game. And love this game. Sometimes hate this game. But let's all talk about Neopian lore. Yeah! Woohoo!
Welcome to episode 21 of Neopian Lore, where we're going to cover the 5 heavy hitters of Neopian commerce: the shop wizard, the auction genie, Nigel the commodity broker Chia, the bank manager, and the tax beast. I'll try to be as accurate as possible and attempt to pronounce all names correctly, but keep in mind, this world is fictional and this is all just for fun. I'm your host, Krista Poyman. Now let's cozy up to some nostalgia. It's pretty funny that a game a lot of us started playing as kids has such an emphasis on economy and commerce. We've got the stock market, betting, scratch cards, slot machines, etc., etc. You can get your fix of going crazy with money without the real-world repercussions. The 5 economy gurus we're going to talk about today, and yes, that even includes the tax beast, I would like to defend their honor and say they positively affect the Neopian economy. We've seen more swindling by the Neopets community than these guys. Listen, I try to stay positive on this podcast, but there are guilds that purposely work together to drive up the prices for items by buying them all up. Not cool, guys. Don't ruin other people's fun. There's a difference between sniping and restocking and actively causing inflation. As for the boss at Plushie Tycoon, he's a menace. It's pretty messed up that the way to win the game is firing your employees immediately after they finish a job. Oh, but he can argue we made that choice and we are the monsters. No way. He's the one that set up the infrastructure here. Am I salty that I've tried Plushie Tycoon for the avatar about 6 attempts and go bankrupt every time? Yes, I am. We're gonna leave out Juita from the Trading Post since she's got a lot of history, and technically the Trading Post is meant to deal more with items than Neopoints. She will get her spotlight, I promise. But let's get started with Neopia's most adorable guru, the shop wizard. Alakazam! It's the shop wizard. The shop wizard is your friendly guide to online comparison shopping. Type in what you want to buy, and he will search through all of the shops in the market to find you the best prices. The shop wizard's main building is shaped like his signature navy blue wizard's hat, adorned with stars and moons. He's been a feature since the start of Neopets in 1999. His design has stayed pretty consistent, a fluffy yellow jub with a navy blue wizard's outfit, though his facial features now are considerably smaller than before, so he looks a lot less stressed out. Perhaps it's because he feels a lot more confident at his job after doing it for over 20 years now. The classic pointy wizard's hat is ingrained in cinema with Merlin, Dumbledore, and Gandalf, but this trope for witches and wizards has been around a long time, drawings dating back to the 1600s. So the shop wizard could be hundreds of years old for all we know. It's likely the shop wizard hails from Meridel, like many of the other Neopian wizards, as it is a medieval-themed land. As it's a classic trope for wizards to have masters and then later on apprentices, it's likely there is some connection with this Jub and the other wizards. Maybe the old Galert from Spellseekers is his master, and now he's training the Poogle apprentice from Hubrid's Hero Heist. There's also Calvara, who runs the magic shop in Neopia Central, and even has a shopfront shaped very similarly, a magician's hat, blue with stars on it. Is it an homage? Maybe competition? Happy coincidence? Who's to say? The shop wizard has the gift of clairvoyance, the psychic ability to gain information. Now, he could let you wander aimlessly around the marketplace to find that specific coincidence item or illicit quest item, but no, he uses his magical powers for good. Now, you may be saying, best prices? Come now, there are 13 marketplaces he looks through. That's a lot of refreshes, and you can only get items up to 999,999 Neopoints. Well, first, The shop limit creates a checks and balances system. We've all accidentally missed a zero at one time, and it hurts. Now imagine that with an item in the millions or several millions. You would rage quit for a few weeks, be honest. And come now, clairvoyance is a taxing job for this little Jub. You've seen how big the marketplace is. He's got to do it in sections. Yes, he doesn't find the best deals unless you have premium for the Super Shop Wizard. But after so many searches of his Super Shop powers, you see him dizzy and disoriented. The amount of strain and pressure we put on him is astronomical. At least with his normal powers, you get 360 searches within an hour, and you can search for paintbrushes and morphing potions. So give him a break! You can actually have your shop located in a different land, each with their own marketplace. Neopia Central, Mystery Island, or the Haunted Woods. The shop wizard searches in all locations, so don't fret. Neopia Central is the most popular location, with shops appearing as houses. Mystery Island has shops that look like huts, the shop wizard's building in a similar style, but with a blue roof covered with stars and moons. And in the Haunted Woods, storefronts are tombstones, but the shop wizard's location is a rock shaped like his hat. It doesn't matter the location of your shop unless you have one of the largest ones. Then, if a user were to click on a specific storefront icon, it would lead directly to your shop. I can only see this being beneficial for shops geared towards fairy quests for people who wish to complete them unassisted, but that's just me. The Mystery Island and Haunted Woods marketplaces are a bit trickier to find since they're flash and outdated, so if you do have a mega shop, the Neopia Central is your best bet for traffic. Though the shop wizard has 3 headquarters, I'm gonna assume they all are portals to his true location. Where that may be, who's to say? The shop wizard has a random event that just makes me giggle. The shop wizard wiggles his magical toes, and suddenly your gallery has 5 more spaces. Wiggling toes to cast a spell plants the weirdest mental image. And it's a really good random event. Those gallery upgrades can get expensive. On April Fool's 2012, the shop wizard was all out of sorts, spouting random prices, some not even real numbers, random items, or just not supplying any results. Luckily, he was back to normal the next day. If your pet wants to cosplay as the shop wizard, there are 4 wearable items to do so. Hey, perhaps if your pet wears the same outfit, they will also gain the gift of finding good prices. Or maybe the shop wizard will be so impressed by your pet's outfit, he'll give you some Super Shop Wizard searches for free. Our next commerce guru is the Auction Genie, a yellow walkie who oversees the auction house's searches. Alakazam! It's the Auction Genie. I'm your friendly guide to online auctions. Type in what you want to buy, and I will search through all the current auctions to find you the best prices. As his name suggests, he is a genie, which, alongside his turban, makes me assume he hails from the Lost Desert. From our own world's history, genies, or sometimes known as jinns, originate from pre-Islamic and Islamic mythology. Initially, they were shapeshifters and skilled in possession, but then their stories morphed into wish-granting and living in magical bottles or lamps. But our genie is not like the rest. 3 wishes? Psh! You can search up as many things as you want, baby! Maybe he's a freed genie, as there's no lamp next to his floating, swirling lower half, making sense why you get unlimited wishes, meaning search results. The Auction Genie is no trickster. If you look up a baby paintbrush, he'll show you all the listed baby paintbrushes. Like other genies, though, you do need to be specific. If you just search up baby, he will show you results for all items with baby in the name. So don't be surprised if mini baby hot dogs or a baby mummy show up in your search results. The auction house has its own stock, and somehow the genie also has a separate one. Not sure how you can invest in a Neopet as stocks deal with companies. Is it the validity of his searches that dictate the stock price? I don't know. Regardless, It's a nice segue to Nigel the commodity broker Chia, who runs the stock market. Nigel is the flashiest of the gurus. He drives a red sports car, always has a cell phone in hand, wears a tuxedo, and has perfectly done-up hair. And he's the only one with a canon name. Now you could argue that the others hide their names since if they're ripping Neopians off, why would they want to disclose that information? But as we've already covered, they're not. They're on your side, just humble cogs in the machine. Now even though this yellow Chia is showy, he's not greedy. His commission is a measly 20 Neo points per transaction, and somehow he's driving a sports car off that income? But is his lifestyle really that expensive? Let's do the math. The only non-toy car is the Asuki Dream Car, which does in fact come in red. It could be bought for 500 Neo cash, so maybe it was gifted to him, though Nigel could have a side hustle to earn real-world dollars. His tuxedo looks most similar to the conductor's tuxedo. Again, Neo cash. The item work phone is currently around 7,500 Neo points. That's only 375 transactions. Now, I'm not sure how much gas and cell service is in Neopia, and you gotta assume his Neo home is decked out, but he's doing pretty well for himself on 20 Neo point commissions. User Patronymic Penguin on Reddit made a Nigel appreciation post, pointing out how humble Nigel is. They even dug up old Neo art of Nigel at the well-loved local hot dog establishment, Hubert's Hot Dogs. See guys, he's just like us. Nigel also participated in the 2012 April Fool's prank, but he messed around at the auction house. All items listed were made of dung, and Nigel bid on every single item. So maybe you wouldn't want to go to his Neo home. If he actually bought all those items, it probably smells really bad. If you are new to the stock market, here's a quick rundown. There are currently 43 companies you can invest in. You can only purchase 1,000 shares a day, and they must be a minimum of 15 Neo points per share. The exception is getting the stock market boon from the Battle of the Obelisk, which brings that number down to 10 Neo points. A general rule of thumb is to buy at 15 and sell at 60, but truly, it's up to you. Some people wait only until it's 45. Some 100, some even more. It's really random what the stocks will do, and you can't actually predict anything. It's not like in the real world where if a company screws up or has a disaster, you can see it reflected in the stock prices. If that was the case, when Fairyland crashed to the ground, the fairy clothing stock should have crashed as well. An example with how wild stocks can be, the stock buzz hadn't moved higher than 25 in the last 2 years, but it shot up to the 300s a few weeks ago. It seriously was bonkers. Sadly, I sold my shares when it was only in the 80s. Boo-hoo-hoo. The stock market is fun, random, and luckily no real money is lost if your stocks are on a decline. If you invest enough, specifically 1 million Neo points, you'll even receive the Sell avatar. There used to be a feature of stocks occasionally going bankrupt, where the only option was to dump them, meaning an automatic loss. I'm assuming this feature was rolled out since it hasn't happened in years. Watch, as I say this, the entire market will go bankrupt. Knock on wood. But where to store all your earnings from your stock market investments? Well, you need to head over and see the bank manager. Among the oldest buildings in Neopia Central, the National Neopian has served as an economic cornerstone in Neopia for many years. Since its construction in year 1, the bank has seen well over 1 trillion Neo points deposited and withdrawn. Though the bank grows busier each year, Neopians are still greeted warmly from time to time by the Skeeth manager, who strives to bring a personal touch to the transactions of every customer that he meets. Whether you have a Neopian student account or Millionaire Mega Platinum, you'll be sure to receive exemplary service from the manager and his well-trained staff. Right off the bat, I'll say it, the bank manager is a gem. He's polite, takes his job very seriously, and has extremely high interest rates. Ah, but people say he's a skeeth. He's got to be evil. Look at those slitted eyes and scowl. He's also green, the color of money and greed. Well, that couldn't be farther from the truth. He is a kind and thorough banker. And you know what? Who better to run a bank than a dragon? Dragons notoriously guard gold, which dates back all the way to Greek mythology, where the gods would task dragons to guard their treasures to deter thieves. If the Greek gods trusted dragons, then you should too. The bank manager provides interest rates starting at 4.5%, all the way to 12.5% with an ultimate riches account, requiring 10 million Neopoints or more. Ugh, I wish real interest rates were that high. Goodness. And let's say you deposited 10 million Neopoints, and later you spent it all on an expensive item. Your interest rate stays the same unless you manually change your account type. So you can still have the higher interest rate even if you're down to 10,000 Neopoints. Again, the bank manager is such a gem. He does have an avatar with his lovely self on it, which you can get if you deposit Neopoints on your active pet's birthday. He also has 2 glorious random events. Good morning, sir or madam. It seems we may have made a slight error with your account. Nothing to worry about, though. Everything is just fine now. We've even reset your daily interest for today, so please stop on by to collect it. Please accept this Virtue Pets toaster with our compliments. So not only do you get Neopoints, but a toaster? Who doesn't love a good toaster? There's also the bank error random event, which gives you a random amount of Neopoints. What a win! The bank manager will get irritated if you withdraw too many times in one day and will refuse to serve you until the next. But that's to be expected. Don't waste his time. He's got a lot on his plate. This guy is running an entire bank, and I've never seen him take a break. He's always the one at the forefront, regardless of what his Neopedia says. If you want to help him out, you should play the game Trouble at National Neopian Bank, where you're a cashier at the National Neopian, and it's an extremely busy day. Not only are Neopets coming in by the dozen to deposit money, a nasty band of thieves has decided to come and steal it all. It's your job to work the security system to keep the customers in and the robbers out by using your keyboard. The situation with the robbers has gotten so dire before, the bank manager has even requested help 3 times during Better Than You. The National Neopian does its best to protect your Neopoints, but thieves these days are getting far too bold. We need your help to keep an eye out for such unsavory folk. Just stand by these buttons and do what you can to stop them in their tracks. One thing the bank manager doesn't provide are loans. Since there's no interest from them, how exactly is the bank making money? Are the Neopoints stored used to invest in the stock market? Or maybe bank services are a government entity paid for by taxes? Segue. There's no question the tax beast is painted as a villain. They even have their own gallery of evil entry that states, "This evil little imp seems to think that he is owed a portion of your money. In fact, when he arrives demanding his fair share, with his teeth bared and his claws drawn, most people usually just give him what he wants. Keep all your Neopoints safely in the bank. You have been warned." And it is easy to see the tax beast as a villain. Picture this. You have 10 million Neopoints on hand, ready to bid on your dream stamp or morphing potion, then bam! They attack. Either 10% of your on-hand Neopoints if they're regular tax beast, or 25% if it's the angry one. Are these Urbal-esque creatures one and the same? They could be one Neopet, but when they get enraged, their fur turns from green to red. Or they could be 2 separate creatures. As of now, I can't find confirmation for either answer, but whether it's 1 or 2 creatures, they're simply just doing their job. Most of us are hoarding our Neopoints in the bank. Think about this though. Have you ever paid taxes on items sold? Items bought? Do you pay Neo-home property taxes? Okay, maybe Neopia bakes in their taxes, but I've never seen any mention of that. Listen, I don't like taxes either, but infrastructure isn't free. Neopia needs to keep its buildings and roads up to code. Someone needs to collect taxes, and clearly there must be some oversight on this front. Queen Fire. And I get it. It's not nice to be roared at to give away your hard-earned Neopoints. But the only way to get tax collections is either being overly aggressive or overly nice. There is no middle ground here. So the tax beast took the aggressive route. Though I don't condone the angry tax beast picking up and shaking around terrified Neopets to take what's due. There are better avenues for anger, like planting a garden or collecting socks. Hey, maybe someday Granny Hopbobbin will take over tax collection, since no one would be able to resist her.
Oh, please, your taxes are due. I need to collect them now, dearie. I do apologize.
However, for now, the tax beast has that dirty job. Now, not everyone is storing away their Neopoints. There is a high score table for both the tax beast and the angry tax beast that lists the highest amounts taken. Like other high score tables, trophies are awarded each night and reset at the end of the month. If you are still angry about them taking your Neopoints, you can let out your frustrations in the Battle Dome, since if they attacked, you've unlocked them as a secret challenger. You can even win the prize B308 tax form, which will break down exactly where your Neopoints are going. Yay! Finally, you can honor the tax beast by painting your Yerbil Halloween. Maybe if the real one comes to pay a visit, they'll just get confused by your pet and leave you alone. So next time you see any of these Neopian commerce gurus, thank them, give a warm smile, offer some homemade cookies, even to the tax beast. Well, that's all for this episode of Neopian Lore. All characters and licensing belong to neopets.com. Music was created by me, Krista. Today's composition is called If I Were a Rich Neopian. I hope you have a lovely day in Neopia.